So I started liking photography in, I think it was probably high school or even as early as middle school, I'm not sure.
History of photography is a class where we'll go through the creation of photography, the invention of photography, and move through the technology portion of it.
The history of photography, I think, is one of the biggest things I've learned. I didn't know anything about that before coming here. A cohort class is where the entire population of the class are deaf students, deaf and hard of hearing students, and most of whom use sign language.
I like taking most of the deaf classes, not just only because I have the resources, I have the interpreters, I have everything, but because it's giving us more deep detail and explaining how the process looks like.
Yes. Oh, it's easier to have the teamwork and communicating and with the instructor, the teamwork and everyone being so helpful and not dismissive, of course.
I think we're the only community college in the country that offers cohort classes to deaf students.
Well, I really appreciate being here at Mount SAC because Mount SAC, the value of life for me with what they provide, all the resources for the deaf and hard of hearing, the access, all the different kinds of things for everyone.
So taking the deaf program classes helps a lot.
Like, since I've come here, this feels like a second home. There are lots of opportunities here for deaf students to take advantage of. They can follow their passions and choose whatever major they like here.
Because it's giving me the opportunity to continue to have my education, to have the career that I want, to make the decisions that I want, and plus the resources that they provide.
Well, we have interpreters, we have note takers and captioners. A deaf student can't watch a lecture, watch an interpreter, look down to take notes, and do all those things simultaneously.
I first thought sign was phonetically words, and then when I finally found out that it's images. So when you want to spell out coffee, it's not C-O-F-F-E-E, it's actually one sign for coffee. And I wanted to showcase what we do in visual storytelling with a group of people that are already kind of storytellers.
Not just storytelling, but also, based on what I'm doing with the process, taking the pictures and communicating with others, my friends in the group, and how we're adjusting the things that we're working with, communicating with each other is important too.
I got my first camera from my dad when I was 18, and it was just amazing. I was inspired, and I learned that I could travel, take photos wherever I went, and I just got really excited about finding my passion.
I never taken a photography class before. I just seen the phone, we use it. But I think I learned the way how the cameras have been changed.
Now they get to experience what it was like. They take themselves out of right now and they put themselves in history, and then it makes it more interesting.
It really opened my mind to the historical aspect of photography.
This class is really learning the technology and how it's still being used today. So
really helpful in getting me to understand how time and technology has changed.
But then we'll actually do the practical version of working with it, and come in and we'll take a small object and take a photo as it moves along, which creates the beginning stages of a video.
So we'll be moving around objects that will make the editing of the video, which back in the days they didn't have the modern, like the new camera. So we were doing the old-fashioned way how the video was created.
So this particular stop motion is based around Muybridge. Muybridge was the person that photographed the horse using multiple cameras and a long line.
For here, on a California racetrack in 1872, sequence photography was born.
And also was the beginning birth of video, right? So as soon as you put that timeline, you put it on a round kind of projector, spin it around, you look through a small hole and you see the horse, and the horse is kind of moving.
It's fun to learn at the same time. You're learning new things that you've never seen before.
And I have a new appreciation for how far photography has come.
It's eye-opening when you learn it, and then you actually can see it and then you can actually practice it, right?
It's fascinating how things change it.
What I've realized as a professor is when you're working with the deaf, if you're not looking, then they're missing. So as an instructor, how do I change my mode of delivery to make sure that I'm able to support the student learning.
But deaf people can do everything that anybody else can. We just don't rely on speaking or hearing to communicate.
I won't allow any barriers to my access. I do fight for and will win, out in that situation.
But I'm learning to be a better communicator through these kind of challenges.